Welcome to the Sherwood Shakeup. I'm your host, Matt Weinglass, and welcome to the show, everybody. Today, we have a very special episode. We got an exciting group coming on with us. We're going to be discussing distracted driving and how we're fighting back against it with a very special project called Crash, the animated series. And we have some very, very cool, talented, professional people from the Sherwood community that have helped with this project the whole way through. It's been actually several years in the making, and they're coming on together today to discuss and reflect and talk about this very important issue and how this project has helped, fight back against a good cause. So for a good cause. So in the meantime, before we introduce the guest today, I'm going to bring in our senior correspondent, Lizette Santiago. Welcome back to the show.
Hola.
There you are.
Woo,
Hey, how are you?
I'm
Lizette?
good, Matt. How are you?
Good. I always appreciate our check-ins, Lizette, because I feel like we can, you remind me to kind of keep things light and fun because we get so serious with all these happenings in the world today. We get serious about these intense projects that we're working on, and we sometimes we take ourselves a little too seriously. So I do appreciate you reminding us all to just kind of relax and have fun.
I wish I was at the Academy Awards reminding Will Smith to have fun too.
Oh my God. That's
that.
if only he could have
I would have stopped him. What are you doing? Sit down.
It's funny. I was listening to that speech, and I actually didn't see I didn't see what had happened before. I was actually just watching the speech, and if you didn't know what had happened, it was a damn good speech. But then I after I went back to see, oh my God, what had happened right before? But it's like he's talking about love and like doing good for the world, and like that by itself sounds really good. It's just too bad the actions didn't line up with that. And like our actions have to line up, right? It's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree. You can't say one thing and then do something else. That's just hypocritical, And I mean, I like Will Smith and I like Jada, but that was a little extreme for me. Chris Rock is a comedian, and without going, because it's becoming a huge thing now for everybody. But I will say this: kudos to Chris Rock for handling himself like a professional. He was up there. He took a slap, literally, and he still went on with the show. So
absolutely.
my thumbs up to him for having done that. Really,
yes,
a pro.
Now let's hope that the ramifications don't make it hard for other comedians going on stage, and have to hope that there's nobody else trying to pull an act of violence like that. That's something that we need to be wary of. All performers need to be wary of, when especially live performers that go on stages a lot.
Well, we went through that. Yeah, we went through that like last week. Was it last week with Uncensored? I mean, no one did any of that, and that was, I think, more stuff. More heavy stuff from the comedians, but nobody went up there and slapped any of the. I didn't even hear anybody heckling any of the comedians.
No, but you never know what you're going to get. And so I just think that just moving forward, we have to just represent, not just saying the right thing, because it's words are great and they can do a lot, but our actions have to back it up. So when we talk about representing love and doing good for the world, acting out of courage, acting out of love, our actions have to represent that. So that's all we can do here at Sherwood Players, is we can demonstrate what those actions look like. So we will continue to take the high road and hope others follow in our footsteps.
Speaking, Matt, of the high road, I know yesterday you had an important day. Yesterday was the first day of the director's workshop for Sherwood Players. So
yes, it was.
How was class? How did it go?
Exceptional. I mean, oh my God, Lizette, we had. I'm so happy. We have so many amazing, talented, professional artists that came to be part of this director's course. It's the first day. We're going to be working together for 2 months together and just putting together some awesome work, and we're going to be able to show it to everybody at the end of the course. So there will be a director showcase. We'll be announcing that soon. But like anybody who's looking to get involved in more engagement, physical interaction with us at our new spot at the Complex Hollywood, you can go to sherwoodplayers.com/classes right now and check out some of the stuff we have. Besides the director's course, we do have other workshops we offer as well, and future classes as well. But like, yeah, like I said, we're excited with this team. We have talented people, very talented directors with visions, strong visions, and we're just so excited to put something together to show you guys when we get to the end of May, I believe. So we'll be announcing that shortly.
Awesome. You have a good group of actors too, right?
Well, the actors too. I don't want to overlook the actors. I mean, that's you got to have actors and directors that are there to work hard and commit to the material, commit to the process, and we have it great on both sides. So yeah, very excited.
Awesome.
So,
kudos.
Cool. Okay, so moving on to the show topic today, distracted driving with the project Crash. I'm gonna actually let you, Lizette, conduct some of the interviews here because I don't, I don't know. I like your style, and you keep things fun. So please help me out today as we have a lot of guests to get to. So
you got it. I'll be your right man or woman, rather.
Awesome. you're the right hand person.
Right-hand person.
Okay. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring on our first guest, who we actually had to record an interview with because he's extremely busy. Nice. He's the co-creator of the project Crash, which we'll be talking about today. And his name is Ryan Foland. He's a partner of Sherwood Players, and I had the privilege of meeting up with him just the other day, and we sat down and had a talk about the project. So let's check out what Ryan had to say about Crash. All right. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today and taking time to talk with me.
Ahoy, Matt. It's good to see you, and always excited to talk about these legacy projects that we just never seem to let die.
No, they have a life of their own, but and you and I, we've worked on so many projects together, but there's something really special about Crash. I think we both know, like, that, we were both there in the beginning, and it's several years ago now, I guess, when it first became this like idea. And I'd love to go down memory lane with you for a second, and let's go back to that moment where the idea of Crash just kind of appeared, and what happened? How did that come about?
To give full context, we actually have to go back before Crash was even a figment of our imagination in a rundown 32-foot bouncer RV. So there was an app development company called Iconisys, and they were trying to address what at the time, and is still a big problem, which is texting and driving. So they tried to do it through a smartphone application. And using this GPS technology, you could decide when a phone was going faster than someone could walk, which would trigger this key within that shut down the phone's function. And so if you got a text message or a phone call and the phone was going a certain speed, it would reply automatically saying, "I'm driving right now, I'll get back to you." Seems pretty revolutionary. No, it seems like just not a big deal now. But back then, this was like a huge deal because it was a huge deal. So they were trying to raise money to build this app out and make like a national distribution of it. And so in order to kind of get some grassroots awareness, they literally took a big RV. They purchased an RV and they drove across the country trying to raise support, talking about how texting and driving is a real issue. It was like a road show where they're actually trying to get money. Well, there was enough money to keep the bus going, but the whole project was sort of stagnant because the technology in the phones or the batteries was the killer. So with this app running in the background, the battery technology wasn't enough so that you have this app, but it drains your battery. People love the idea, but just the timing wasn't right. So to try to keep it going, they actually wrapped the bus and they called the bus the Text Kills Bus. And around this time is when I joined the company as a COO to help them with operations. They had a lot of exciting apps. And at that time, I was really big into anti-bullying, and cyberbullying was and still is an issue. So we took some of the same technology that they were using for the driving app, and I helped them to come up with the Bully Buster app. We got a lot of media attention. So if somebody's sending unwanted text with 3,000 different flagged words, it would forward that text message to the parent with identification of who sent it. And so now, again, we're using technology, and texting, cyberbullying was leading and still leads to a lot of suicides and deaths.
Right.
So this whole thing of text kills. It kills you in the car. It kills you if people are cyberbullying you. And so we got this new momentum with it. And I had this crazy idea of taking the bus to different schools, charging them for it, giving an assembly about safe driving and safe etiquette around not bullying kids through the phone. That was where I really started to practice my speaking skills. Like I just started to do it, and it was super empowering. And then I got a race car game. We mounted a TV on the side of the bus, and then we would let people play a driving car game, fire off a siren, which said you have a text message. So they'd have to pick up a piece of paper that looked like a phone and read the text message while they're driving. And then they would crash.
Of course.
And it was this real live thing. So let me give you a little visual on this. First of all, this is the bus. This is me and Wayne Irving, who was sort of the idea creator behind Iconisys. And you can see it's a big bus there. This is a visual of the driving simulation. So we had this, you know, you'd be driving with a car wheel, and then you'd answer a text, then all of a sudden it would crash. And so we went to these different schools, and people decided to start Sign the Bus as a commitment to not text and drive. So it was just a really powerful way of delivering the message. But if you're trying to talk with teenagers and middle schoolers, they're like, they don't listen to you. So I called my friend Matt, and I said, Matt, let's get some video around this. Let's like this could be a cool documentary. This could be something. Like, just drive down. We're at this school in San Juan Capistrano. And so you drove down, and we had the full, I remember like the, you know, I don't know, it was a camera. We had the full briefcase and like all the camera equipment. It was like, we were feeling like major production style. We're like, we're gonna
high tech at the time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder. Yep. And so we were filming and doing all this stuff. And in between this different sessions, the kids came out. We're in this old shitty van. It literally is like just in the worst shape ever. And we're like, how do we make this cool? Yeah. And so we started talking with the students, and we're trying to figure out what's cool. And I think it was you, Matt. You're like, do kids still like superheroes? Yeah. I'm like, I think so. And so like the next batch, we're like, hey, do you guys like superheroes? Like, yeah, superheroes are cool. So we go back into the smelly van, and we're like, how can we make a superhero out of this? Yeah. And that was where this idea of a superhero named Crash was born. I remember talking, we're like, well, people aren't going to take this seriously. And so you're like, well, no, that's the whole point. This superhero thinks that he has like, that he's making a difference, but he's so kind of like his logic is so stupid. What if he just takes the phone charger? And so he steals the phone charger. So therefore, in his mind, he thinks that it solves the problem, because if the phone battery is dead, then they're not texting and driving. Yeah. But it's so stupid, because you can plug your phone and you can charge it somewhere else. But that was like this idea that was born. And so we're like, let's make a short. Let's make a short.
That's right. And that was the next step, I believe. Obviously, we said, okay, we can't afford to do a feature film, but it was like, what are we trying to say in a short film? Which I think just enough, like you said, just enough to make the point for the kids to pay attention. And we have this superhero that is going to, I guess, eventually just be that face of the distracted driving campaign, which is, we have to have this person they look up to, even if it's funny and ridiculous. But I think that's what we figured out, was that funny and ridiculous can work, because it's better than the other option, which is what, doom and gloom. Like,
at the time, it's super doom and gloom. And so we thought, you know, high schoolers and teenagers don't want to be told what to do. You tell them what to do, and they're like, guess what? I'm going to do something. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So the idea was playful enough for them to hopefully grasp the reality of the situation. And we were going to actually, I remember going to downtown LA and in the costumes, and we were coming up with the costumes and sketching it all out. And it was like a skin tight, like bodysuit with the stupidest goggles. And it was supposed to be hilarious. Yeah. You're supposed to let the person make their own decision. Like, it's entertainment, but letting you connect the dots. And we were just our classic Sherwood guerrilla filming. I don't think we had any permits. I remember in a couple of the restaurants we were filming in, like I was running blocks where you were filming and all kinds of stuff. So it was fun.
It was fun. And who knew that it would have this lifespan that it does now? And just to be clear, like right now with the animation coming out, the first season of the animated series is literally coming out in a few days here on Roku. And the lead actor, even like Randy was the guy that we literally downtown that day dressed him up in the Crash costume. And he's still now in all these alterations of this project. he's voicing the character Crash all these years later. He's still the guy, and all the people that were there that day and that for that shooting that short, I think it was like a 3-day shoot we had. Yeah. Every one of those people are still part of this project today, and they're all excited about this release. So what a great thing we built together. Just this kind of community vibe behind this thing, and who knew it would have the legs that it has. So
totally. And I'll never forget being up on the roof of somebody's house with the final shot where he's like, Randy's up there. And what people don't realize is that the goggles we bought were like so cheap, so cheap that they would fog up the whole time. So like you'd have like maybe 30 seconds to a minute until they would fog up, especially after a couple takes. And it was just like, it was an iconic, scrappy production. But I'll tell you why this thing continued to get traction. It's because of you, Matt. I remember having so many conversations where you're like, oh, I don't know, what are we going to do with this? I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's just do this. Or what about this? And you're like, what about an animation? What about this? What about, like, I don't know how many conversations we had where you kept the fire alive, as you always do. So you should.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, right? But I have to remind you about one conversation we did have. Okay. And this was when I know we had a whole bus tour planned with Crash. Randy, Vinneau, he was going to get in the costume. We were going to go on this whole tour. We were all excited. And things don't work out sometimes, and that's okay. And like we realized, okay, this thing probably was hitting a wall and was done. But like you said, I was like, what can we do more with this? You're the one actually who suggested to me. You said, unless we do a whole nother alteration of this, like an animation or something, like it's pretty much dies here. And the live action shorts pretty much, we're done with this alteration. If you have some way to do this as an animation, that would be you. I think you suggested that to me. And then I was like, okay, hold on. Let me think about that, and I'll call you back.
That sounds like me, because there's always another way. Like you had the will, yes, and I had the way.
There's always another way, and that's a lesson for all artists, all actors watching. Any producers or creators watching us right now, watching what we've done with this project over all these years. There's always another way. You don't ever have to shelve something. I mean, it's okay. Sometimes timing doesn't work out, and you have to like take a break on something, but don't ever give up on it. You can always bring it back. Try another way. There's always a way. And here we are today, and we got season 1 of the animated series premiering on Roku in just a few days.
I am super excited. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the team. I have so many good memories of that shoot, and just knowing that it continued to move along. And I will say, at the end of the day, this is all really rooted in just honestly trying to save lives, and just trying to help these teenagers who are not thinking about the dangers that they're endangering us as well as themselves. And so I think it's a worthwhile project, because the other option is doom and gloom. This is like creativity and fun and getting people to make decisions for themselves. So my dad always said, if you get people to laugh, you'll get them to learn. And I think that's really what this animated series can be. And so let's check this out. Let's package it. Let's sell this until we're blue in the face, and let's get Grammys and Emmys and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. And by the way, we have a children's book we're working on right now. We have a comic book, a prototype for a comic book. We're working on this, right? Like we're doing it. Like we're finding it at all angles, and we hope to do a full feature, a full production animated feature. Hopefully, we can put funding together for that as well. But for now, let's enjoy the moment, celebrating this moment, this launch of the first season on Roku. It's very, very cool.
Let's do it. Well, hey, I literally, I'm so proud of you for continuing to push this along. And I remember the conversation in the stinky RV where it all started, and it's classic Sherwood style, buddy. You've carried the torch. So
thanks, Ryan.
Let's check it out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan, for all your support and hard work and and belief in what we're doing. And here we are. So yeah, congrats to everyone. So
that's it. It's all about belief at the end of the day. So awesome. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And when you can convince people to believe in what you believe, then they'll come along with you for the ride. And that's exactly what we've done.
I love it.
All right, don't text and drive.
Awesome.
Don't tweet and drive.
Awesome.
Don't whatever and drive. You do it. You all do it. So watch this thing and learn from Crash, because if you mess up, he's going to come steal your charger.
That's right. Bad. That's bad. All right, take it easy, Ryan. We'll talk
Adios.
Wow, Matt, that I didn't know all of that. That's really wow. That was a amazing experience.
It was great talking with Ryan, because I forgot about he was really the guy that started the he called me and said we got to do this thing, And I don't know, it's just, who knew we would
Yeah.
create this superhero, and you know, here we are now, about to premiere on Roku. The first season is premiering this Friday on Genre TV, and we're all just so excited. So
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing. How did you and Ryan put the team together after you came up with this idea? Like, how did you get everybody together?
So he mentioned the live action short, which is, I mean, yeah, we didn't know it was going to be an animation project. So with the live action, I just went to this community that I was engaged with, and you know, Sherwood Players was just starting up again. I mean, we had previously, Ryan and I had run Sherwood Players together in Santa Barbara years before, but this was about 2013, 2014. We hadn't done anything with Sherwood for several years, and so I had this new community I was engaged with, and I, you know, going to these acting classes, and I had just started meeting some really talented people, and I told Ryan, I go, I think we got a new batch of talent right here in LA, and I'm going to go engage with them, and I'm going to get them on board with this. And so it just, you know, we just started putting the pieces together. We got an amazing actor, Randy Vinneau, to play Crash. And you know, we're gonna
be with us soon too.
he's gonna be with us here in a little bit. But yeah, that's what Ryan was talking about, putting the costume together and literally dressing him in the costume, live action. And we had a whole cast together. We got a crew together. We had you know, camera, sound, and we put the thing together. It was a 15-minute short. The problem was that we didn't have anything to do with it beyond making it, because there were a lot of things, and Ryan didn't really get into it, but a lot of things that didn't come to fruition. Nothing to do with him or me. It was that this company, Tex Kills, they had promised this bus tour. We were gonna do this road documentary. I was talking to Randy about bringing him on the bus in the full costume as Crash, going around.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, it was all going to happen. And the short was, we were going to just kind of push the short film and get people on board with what we were doing on a national level. Right. But they fell apart. The company Tex Kills fell apart, and we actually had this big logo on Randy's costume. It had their logo, Tex Kills, and we couldn't do anything more with it, because that company, we didn't really have any association with the company anymore. But we did own the rights to the character we created. So that's when Ryan came up with the idea about animation, and I said, damn, how are we going to do that? Because I didn't know any animators. Right. And then but one thing led to another, and we got in touch with our incredible animator, Fernando, and Fernando Mendez. He's been animating this thing this whole time with us and putting this together. And we got a sound specialist, composer, Tyler David Gilbert. He came on board with us, and he had done the sound on the short, so it made sense to kind of keep working with him and figuring out how this thing was going to look in its next its next version, which was the animated series. That's awesome. What I want to do right now was that I want to play a little trailer to the series, to the season 1 series, and then we're going to bring on our next guest after that. So
I wanted to say one thing too. I love what Ryan says. It's not what you're doing, it's why you're doing it. And you guys were doing this for the safety of our community, of our kids, especially of us as drivers, and especially in LA or anywhere. So I love that idea of, you know, why you're doing what you're doing. That's what people care about. That was, and this is a great cause. This can save a lot of lives too. So kudos to the both of you for that. That's amazing.
No, thank you. You know, we forget sometimes why we're doing things, because it's kind of fun to just write and produce and direct and act. All those things are fun. Yeah. But when you like, oh wait, there's a cause. There's actually a cause behind this thing. It's that much more satisfying when we were able to complete our work that we set out to do. So
absolutely. So let's see that trailer now, Matt.
Let's see the trailer for Crash, the animated series, season 1. Here we go.
It's pretty simple. If they can't charge their phones, they can't use their phones, which means they are no longer a hazard on the road. No one dies, no one gets hurt. Mission accomplished.
It's like a dog now. Sounds like the dog when the ambulance goes by the house. Except,
hey, not cool.
No, wait! You did not just appear in the back of our car. Please don't do this. I need my phone.
Sorry, ladies, but next time I suggest you make your plans before you get in the car. Have a nice day.
Oh my, unbelievable. I can't believe that just happened. That just happened.
Amazing. Wow. Yay, April 1st.
On April 1st. And now I would love to welcome to our show the animator and co-director, Fernando Mendez, and our sound designer and theme song composer, Tyler David Gilbert. Welcome both to the show.
Welcome, gentlemen. Hey. Hi. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, guys.
Fernando, first of all, welcome, guys, both of you. Fernando, how were you able to do the designs for these characters? I mean, that's quite impressive. How did you do all the designs?
Oh, magic.
A little more than magic, right?
we gather all the picture from the cast, and I base my designs on them. So that's for each and every one, I try to incorporate their faces and stuff.
So if I can clarify that, Lizette, this is what's really fantastic about this project is that when we went from live action to animation, we kept the entire cast that actually did it live. They became the animated characters that you're seeing right now.
I see. Okay.
And what Fernando was very clear to tell me, he says, I don't want to just create whatever, any character on the page. Please send me the pictures of the actors, not just the, so we got front faces, we got the sides, he did an entire kind of 3D kind of scoping of what their personalities were in their pictures, and he brought them to life on the page that you see. So it was, yeah, so every character was based on the live actor that was acted in the show.
And if I'm not mistaken, Fernando, you're located in a different area, right? You're not in LA.
Yeah.
Where are you?
No. You're far away. I'm living in Curacao. It's a Dutch island in the Caribbean.
Oh, wow. So, Matt, you sent him everything. It was all kind of, back and forth via emails. And
I need to clarify this, too, that Fernando and I have never been physically in the same space ever. We've done this our entire relationship has been online, has been on Skype, on WeTransfer, emails, WhatsApp. That's everything. So we've done all this overseas, and it's been incredible to have that type of relationship for so many years. And Fernando, I feel like you're a brother to me right now. I'm telling you, like at this point. So
how was it too? So there's a lot of internet time between the two of you. Internet's your other mutual friend. Question for you guys too. How did you juggle so many roles at the same time, like co-directors, co-producers? Fernando, you did all the graphics and animation, and Matt, of course, you wrote it and being one of the actors in it too. How were you able to juggle working together, all this time? It was mostly the two of you, right?
Yes.
No, go ahead, Fernando. You did you did 5 or 6 jobs all on your own. What was that like?
Yeah, well, it was like a piece by piece. We started with Matt first sent me the script and then the voiceovers. I guess Tyler mixed them and record them for the first episodes. After that, I started working with the storyboard. Like I told you, scene by scene, take by take. And we just put piece by piece together. And after that, after a month of working on each episode, we get, the final result. And it's like that. It seems like a too much work, but if you do it like a one by one and concentrate and focus on every task, you can do it.
And you seem like you enjoy it too, and you have a talent for it too. So it kind of comes.
Yeah, I like it. I've been drawing my whole life. So
wow.
When I think almost everyone when we were kids, almost everybody dreams to make a cartoon when they grow up, and this is something like
or be a cartoon, or be a cartoon too, an actual cartoon character. You mentioned Tyler too. Hi, Tyler.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, Tyler. I never meet you.
I know. We're finally meeting. It's awesome.
How are you?
It's again through our mutual internet friend.
Right.
Tyler, how did you actually get involved in the project Crash?
I was the production sound mixer on that original live action short that you guys all shot back in, I guess it was 2013, right? Something like that. I think I had asked Matt who they had to do the music for the short. And that's kind of how that happened. I had just recently graduated with a degree in music composition. So I was looking for gigs to work on. And I think this was the first project, Matt, that you and I worked on together. And we've worked on several since.
Yes, we have. And I've learned so much about the sound process, the music process from you, Tyler. Like it's been incredible as the three of us, it's really been the three of us, Fernando, me, and Tyler, just kind of figuring out how to structure, because everything kind of comes down to math. I mean, even though there's a lot of emotion, but I'm realizing, like, just looking at the structure, like from every little frame and the seconds, and like just getting everything just placed right. And so I've learned a lot from you, Tyler. And like you said, we've done other projects since, but this was eye-opening for me to be like, how do we structure this and be able to tell this story? But there's a lot of math involved that I'm not as versed in as these two. So I both you guys, thank you for being so like on point and so sharp, because I don't know what to do as far as that stuff goes, the editing and the sound and all that stuff. It's really it's really mind-blowing when you look at it.
You came up with the theme song, right? Like that lovely theme song. What was the inspiration for that? Like, how did you come up?
So Matt and I had a conversation when we were spotting the short film. And Matt, I remember, said that he wanted me to think of this like sort of the Batman animated series, like from the 90s, in terms of being as epic and serious as that, taking that direction of just making this a very, originally kind of serious take on it, at least in terms of making the superhero. And so I got some influences from Danny Elfman's score on Batman the Animated Series, and there's also a little bit of like Spider-Man in there as well. And but there's also like with the drama and the epic throughout the show, there's a lot of like camp and fun in it. So I wanted to bring that across as well. And there's some like that synth that comes in for Crash's theme is sort of, Crash is kind of this electric character, and literally because he uses, cell phones to travel. So that's sort of all those elements kind of came together in that theme song.
That's amazing.
I have to commend that as well, because Tyler, like just those little mood setter like tactics you have as a sound, like people listening, I don't think people in the audience fully understands what's happening inside, like subconsciously, when you suggest what they're going to emote to something. And like I'm just remembering, because my interview with Ryan earlier, like because Ryan wasn't really around for this later process. He was there at the beginning, and he reminded me that at the beginning we didn't fully understand what Crash was. I mean, we were about joking around, and it's kind of a ridiculous that this guy's in this cape, and it was kind of ridiculous when we did the short. What I really like about moving into animation with both you guys, Fernando and Tyler, like what I really, really like was that we found a balance between the ridiculousness and the seriousness of the topic. It was a really nice balance there, kind of like Batman. Because I'm glad you mentioned Batman, because Batman is kind of ridiculous. The Adam West and Burt Ward, that's ridiculous. But somehow, as Batman's evolved, we found a way to get the message across and not have us just laugh at a guy in tights, right? And I think we did that with the animated series that we could not do earlier with the short.
Yeah, it's all about bringing some depth to the character. I think it makes it more interesting.
It's also memorable too when you have those little things that stick out. It's like, oh, the tights. You mentioned the tights and Batman and all that. I remember all of that, and I really didn't grow up in that era, but still, I've seen reruns, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. We need to bring stuff like that back. So it's so true that Crash and some of the things that you guys referred to, the phones and the technology and stuff, that is so our time right now. So it's amazing to see all those synchronicities with, you know, everything you mentioned about texting and then the technology. So it's very well done. I appreciated that you guys did that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks.
Cool. And I want to just to people listening right now, I want everyone to know that like the reason we're all celebrating today is because we are finally premiering Crash the Animated Series Season 1 this Friday on Roku on Genre TV. I mean, this is exciting. I mean,
that's super exciting.
And we're going to have a Season 2 premiere as well when that time comes, because we have an entire second season of material ready to put out there as well. Yeah, so we're just so excited. Oh, hey, Fernando, can you talk really quickly before we bring in our next guests? Can you tell us really quickly about some of the new concepts for Crash beyond the animated series that we have working on?
Okay. Well, right now we're working on a kids book. We already got the first edition, like the first draft for the first book. Still working on it. We still need to tweak a lot of stuff, but yeah, we're working on it. Like you said in the interview with Ryan, we also have a comic book in there that we need to finish. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we still have to do to sit down and work on it. Maybe the third, maybe after the premiere of the second season, maybe a third one. I don't know.
No, that's I've been hearing. I know, Fernando, you've talked to me about that. Some of the cast has talked to me about it. Yeah, I think we might plan a third season, but yeah, but first,
exciting.
Maybe we have already the deal. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we have a lot of ideas over there. I don't know.
Yeah, we're up to what, the iPhone 13 now, so we can put that in the news.
That's right. We got to update the technology. Actually, no. To be honest, when we talked about that, Fernando, we were talking about this post-pandemic world we're in, and people getting back out on the roads.
Yeah.
And maybe their driving's a little off these days, and we could do something about the roads getting more crowded. We actually hear there's more accidents happening now than before the pandemic. I don't know if you guys know, like all the driving accidents, casualties, injuries, they're all going up from pre-pandemic to now. So
you could even do, because a lot of people during COVID, we were doing Zoom and stuff like that, and some people had to drive to places, and they would try to get on Zoom while they're driving, which I was always like, why are you driving and trying to zoom in on a conference or what? I like, just miss it. Or so you can probably do that too, incorporate it when people are driving, trying to have Zoom calls, because COVID.
We always want to be up on the current happenings with all of our stuff. But even when I watched Season 1, and we did do it a while ago, and it's gonna premiere this Friday. A lot of the dialogue there's a lot of pop culture references in it, and I think a lot of them are still true today. So I think that we got lucky with some of it. It doesn't feel outdated to me, at least. It feels still very relevant and very now. I think. I mean, it's when I look at it, but I want to hear what other people think when it comes out. So we're definitely open to hear feedback from the show once it debuts this month.
Yay!
Yay!
1st, right? April 1st.
April 1st. And by the way, everybody, April is officially Distracted Driving Awareness Month, which is why we're premiering this on April 1st. So everybody knows that as well.
All right.
Perfect timing. That's amazing.
So,
great planning.
So hey, Fernando, Tyler, if you want to hang out we're going to bring you back in a little bit with the whole group, but we're gonna bring in some of our cast right now. You guys want to hang out, and we'll see you in a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, cool, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye, Fernando. Bye, Tyler.
Awesome.
Oh, two talented individuals right there. That's amazing.
Yes.
I just,
we're so fortunate. Our group, Sherwood Players, we're so fortunate to have such talented and committed and people. They're not just talented; they're team players. They understand the element of team, and I think it's so important. We're so lucky to have them both. So
they bring a different skill to the table too. Yeah. Animator, sound editor. I mean, it's just amazing how everyone brings a different aspect. of their skills.
So moving on here, I want to introduce our awesome, amazing, talented lead actor,
Drum roll.
Crash, who actually plays Crash for us for the series, Crash the Animated Series. Welcome
Yay.
to the show, Randy Vinneau.
Oh, Guy.
Hi, Randy.
How's it going?
There he is, without the mask.
The man behind the mask. Yes. Oh my God, I'd completely forgotten about the fogging goggles until Ryan talked about that. That was such a hassle to shoot with. It was constantly fogging. I couldn't see. We were walking down the street and like was it like Los Feliz kind of? What area was that in?
We were in Highland Park.
Yeah.
And there was a really fun shot of you of walking down the street and these kids come up to you.
Just a group of random kids that happened to be walking by.
Yeah.
Wow.
You had the floating yellow cape, but you had the foggy goggles, and they're coming by and they're like, oh, it's like they were asking for autographs, but it looked that way on camera. But I think they were just like, who's this guy? Who's this guy in the yellow cape?
What's going on? What are we walking into the middle of? Yeah, that turned out pretty cool. But yeah, those stupid goggles. That was a struggle.
And you know, Randy, that brings me to a question to ask you. As literally the face of distracted driving in person and in this animated series, how has it affected your life? How has it changed you? How is it like, you know, make you?
I definitely use my phone less while I'm driving because of it. And if I do pick up my phone, I feel super terrible about it. I don't.
Don't we all? It sucks. We do that.
But I think because I always tried to not really text and drive, well, even long before this. But I kind of went through a period where I was very nonchalant about it, and I didn't really care, and I did it a lot, and I was like, whatever. If I gotta text somebody, I gotta text somebody. Safety be damned. What a terrible take to have. And this project came along, and it definitely made me like look at that and realize like, you know, it's not worth it. And so that put a hard stop to it for a while.
Right.
Bad habits creep back in, but I certainly don't do it as much as I probably would be otherwise if it wasn't for being involved in this project. So
do you also
who knows? This has potentially saved my life.
Yeah. And others too, you know, your life.
And others too. Others too. I could be in jail for vehicular manslaughter if not for a crash. We don't know. That's possible. And in the multiverse, it's definitely happened. There's a version of me rotting.
There is a version of you, and yes,
Matt cast somebody else, and I'm in prison.
Yes.
So do you feel like some sort of responsibility because you're playing this character who's against all that?
Definitely at the time when we were filming it, and it was kind of happening. I did. And then now, since finding out that it's going to be out there and people are going to see it and experience it, yes, those feelings of responsibility are coming back.
You're going to be driving and somebody's going to be next to you and you have your phone.
I know. I mean, I don't know that anybody would recognize my face, but I'll be singing in my car with the window down. Someone's going to hear my voice and be like, Mom, it's Crash and he's texting. How terrible would that be? How awesome would that be to be recognized? How terrible would that be?
Well, it's Roku, so get ready. Did you, Matt, go ahead. Did you
have no, I was just remembering how much fun we had figuring out this character for you, Randy. Because it went through a few different alterations, but like if he was going to be coming out of high school, if he was going to be a college dude. I think in the short we had him kind of like this sloppy kind of, you know, I remember we had you in the apartment like you maybe just out of college but didn't have his life together. We're kind of figuring out who's this guy. He's kind of this kind of this unlikely dude to just get these superpowers and then have this responsibility. Like with the Spider-Man line, right? With great powers comes great responsibility. But what if the guy is just kind of lazy and doesn't really want to do it? And he's just like, oh man, why do I have to do? So we were playing around with that. That was fun. I remember that.
It was. Well, and then also when it changed from live action to animation, having to kind of retool the character to fit better with animation.
Yeah.
And Fernando played a good part in that too, with kind of the design of the costume and making that more suitable for animation. And I just remember there were a couple conversations with him about kind of the voice and the style and like what works best for animation. And is this animation for 4-year-olds, or is this animation for 14-year-olds, or is this animation for 35-year-olds? Where and trying to have it fit all audiences and make coherent sense. And so, yeah, it was definitely a fun character to like kind of figure out multiple times for various reasons.
Right. And I think the whole process for us, Lizette, and everyone like that's learning about Crash and you know, we figuring out your audience is a big thing. And like, it is something like, and Randy, like, you know, you were a huge part of this, because it's like, we're constantly trying to figure out when we create something, and it's not just with Crash, with anything, any story we're trying to tell, like, who is our audience? And
right,
so Crash has, admittingly so, we've done a lot of trial and errors on it. Like, is this a family friendly thing that needs to go to adults and to kids? Is it specifically for just kids? Do parents care about this? Are we trying to get an older kid? Are we trying to get these teenagers that just got their licenses or about to get their licenses? Like, who's going to respond to this? And we've tried it out on different audiences. We actually did some test screenings for like different kids. I mean, we actually had I remember, because at the time my niece was, I believe she was 4 or 5. We tried her, about 4.5 at the time when we introduced her to Crash, and she was just like, Crash, like, just like I was like, oh my God, are these 4-year-olds gonna be the target here? I don't know. So we tried these different combinations, but in the writing, I mean, and you'll see when this premieres on Friday, we see it in the episodes, we do have a little wink to the audience. So we do have the adults, like little things that are said, kind of like the Pixar style, where the kids aren't going to get it, but we want the parents also to be paying attention. So I don't know, but it's been a work in progress.
If I'm not mistaken, too. Oh, sorry, Randy.
Because the kind of the answer was that it is a message for everybody, whether you're going to get your license tomorrow or in 10 years, or you've had it for 30 years. None of us should be using our phones while we're driving. And that was kind of what we ended up realizing and coming to, like, this can apply it does apply to everybody. And so the broader appeal we can get this character to have, like, the better it's going to do, because anyone that it gets to put their phone down, cast included, is a positive, and it means it's working. So,
well, wasn't there an episode too that you guys did about cyber bullying too in one of the episodes? Or?
No, that was actually part of the early concept of needing to do this app that Ryan was working on. Gotcha. We didn't quite go that direction. So that's what so when he was talking about in our interview, he was talking about, when he originally called me, was he wanted some help figuring out how to develop this app. And I was going to shoot the process. And so I brought down a big camera and we shot this idea of what was going to help kids. And there was a bullying thing going on at the time, and it still is. Obviously, bullying's huge. Yeah. So I hate to say it, but like we couldn't do everything with this character. We focused on distracted driving and kids' safety, but the bullying, that's a whole nother concept. I think we need another superhero for that one, to be honest.
Yeah, that was
Crash can't do it alone. Maybe Bluetooth can help him out.
Yeah,
it's a girlfriend.
Yeah,
another girlfriend, or what's it? Robin. Crash needs his Robin.
Well, he does. Crash does have his Robin. It's Bluetooth. And by the way, speaking of other characters in the universe that we didn't actually have during the short, these new characters came up later as we were developing season 1 and even on to season 2, and we figured out a villain for Crash.
Ooh.
And every superhero needs a villain. He's an arch enemy, correct? Yes. So we came up with one, and the character's his name is The Cell. And what I'm going to do right now, if you guys will hold on, we're going to play a clip from season 1 introducing the character of The Cell. Okay, so hold on. Let's check this out. Yeah, I'm going to put this on right now. Okay, Here we go. Here is intro to The Cell.
My name is Nathan Swift. I am 35 years old, and about 6 months ago, I lost the use of my legs. I was with my wife, Kate. We were on our way back from a work function. It was late. A coworker had texted me, "Great job, Nate, you killed it," because of a speech I gave earlier that evening on wireless encryption. I looked down to read the text, and at that instant, he appeared. She died on impact. There was nothing I could do. I swore I would have my revenge right then and there. Crash, you will pay for what you've done. You will pay!
That was deep.
Please welcome to the show the voice of The Cell, Steve Brock.
Hey, Steve.
Hey,
Hey.
Steve.
Hi.
You will pay.
Steve. Great job, by the way. Really amazing. You're great. That's kind of scary. You're a really good villain. With that being said, playing the villain in a cause-driven project, how did you bring truth and bring full truth to that role that you played? Because it was very believable. So,
Well, for me, it was, every time I play any kind of character, you just bring that truth of.
Hey, Steve, do you think you could try and raise your volume just a little bit? Yeah.
Is that better?
I think so. Yeah, that's great.
So what I did was every person has their inner set of rules, inner set of logic. In a feature I was in, I played a stalker. It was a comedy, but I played a stalker, and that person has his own set of rules, and so did the Cell. So his motivation, his all that is so intrinsic to how he pursues Crash and how he pursues this, that I never looked at it as him being a villain. I looked at him maybe being broken. I looked at there's a lot of things about him that actually is people are able to really identify with. So you play it that way, and you're not playing some sort of mustache twirling, Western villain. And I don't think I ever did that. So that's the idea. That was the idea, is that Nathan was broken. Nathan had issues that led him to be that way. That wasn't, and with some intervention, he could have been different. But that's how I played the part.
well, I agree with you on that. I feel like you're right. Villains don't just wake up and become villains. They had to have gone through some sort of tragedy that that you said broken down or went through some hurt and pain, and they're just kind of like striking back, so to speak, because no one.
Well, everyone's the hero of their own story. So even like well-known actors who end up playing villains, they're still the hero of their story.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the Cell was the hero of his.
Yeah. So I could see that.
It's actually a really interesting concept when you think about someone who is against what Crash is doing. It's somebody who says, I don't think we should be told what to do. I think we should be able to do what the hell we want in our cars. Why should we follow it's like people who maybe are against seatbelts as a law, where you're just like, you know what, that should be my own choice. So we just decided to give this character, Nathan Swift, who I just want to be clear, we haven't seen him in the official costume. That was just that was the backstory. So you guys got to watch the show when it premieres this Friday on Roku on Genre TV, and you'll see really how the character actually evolved into the full geared villain with the costume and everything. But the point is yes, there's another way to look at this. There's like, hey, listen, I don't want this person literally. Crash, he literally appears in your car and steals your car charger and powers down your phone.
Not distracting at all, right? No. Not distracting at all to have some dude appear in your backseat.
So logically, there's going to be people that are against that, and they're going to fight back. And so that's the character of the cell. And he actually makes a good point. He actually says, "Listen, don't let this guy come in your car. Let's fight back against Crash." So that's where we get the conflict. It's actually really fun. And then the two of them, they duke it out there. It's really awesome. These guys, both of these guys, they're excellent together. So.
And speaking,
Crash had a good point, and so did Nathan.
Yes.
So it's now, yes, you should not be texting and driving, but but yeah, it's like it's all about there's an alternate point of view, even though it's like the Joker movie, like he had from a particular point of view, he had a point. But his psychosis made him go do it the wrong way, So I think that's your typical, like a really quality villain is like that.
Randy and Steve, both of you, you came in at some point as co-executive producers on Crash. How did Mr. Matt convince you to do that? I mean, you must have believed in the project at some point, but how did you really decide to be co-producers?
I mean, for me, I think Matt came to me and I was stoked. I think I was in it right away. Like, oh my God, yeah, that'd be great. Let me figure out how to make that work. But I'd love to be able to do that for an episode. One, for believing in the project. Two, just wanting to be involved in it and helping it continue to go along and get it done, and job security for myself. If this episode's not going to get paid for, it's not going to happen. Then I'm not acting it.
Smart actor.
But yeah, no, like I was happy to be asked, and I was happy to do it. So it was
awesome.
I was on board.
Awesome, Randy.
And I was
I think we're having some connection problems with Steve there.
Well,
we're
gonna
we
try.
Seeing him okay?
Is this okay now?
I can see Steve.
Okay, so
he's freezing up on me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Well, I mean, I see everyone perfectly okay. Where I think it's going to end up recording fine, but maybe there's just a little slowdown somewhere. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, when I came in, I mean, and I really liked the idea of the project. I really liked the message. I really liked that there was a lot going on with this, and it was a really cool way. I mean, I saw the original film, and I enjoyed it. I liked and I really liked because Matt's a superhero fan. So I mean, there's a few shorts he's done that prove that. So he knew how to write this type of character to teach the lesson of it. So what's really nice is that I knowing all this stuff and knowing how good the original was, and when he said I'm going to do animation, I go, no brainer. That's awesome. And the moment that Matt reached out to me and said, we really believe in this project and we want to have it go forward. Is there a way that you can come in as an executive producer in a couple episodes? And I said, no brainer. Yeah. I believed in it from, the first day I saw the original film. So of course I'm going to support it as best I can.
Amazing.
And thank you guys both for believing in it and being with it the whole time. I mean, it's been a fantastic journey, and I want everyone to know, obviously, that we couldn't actually do this without people committing, and taking donations from the community, and just it was one of those things that we could only do it because we powered it from people who believed in it. We didn't have any investor come to us and fund this thing. We had to do it kind of grassroots. So I appreciate you guys both and everybody else who helped. So
yeah, of course.
Of course. Of course.
Like I said,
So,
no-brainer.
absolutely. Okay, so guys, if you would hold on for a moment, Randy, Steve, we're gonna come back to you guys in a little bit. If you want to give us a second here, because we're gonna bring on a very special guest here. So
awesome.
So we'll talk to you. We'll catch up with you guys in a few. Okay.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you. Okay.
Bye.
Cool. That was awesome. So. No, this has been so awesome checking in with everyone. I'm having such a good time. Thanks, and thank you, Lizette, for being here with us. It's been awesome today. So
they're all amazing, actors, and they all have brought something to the table. And hearing their side of the story too, and their reasoning behind doing Crash and their characters, it's a learning experience. It's self-learning too. So appreciate that.
So we have a very special guest joining us right now who we're so fortunate to have part of our cast. She is a Hollywood legend. She's been acting and part of Hollywood for decades. And
I'm kidding.
She has her resume is remarkable, and I can't even go on any more about her, but just the fact that she agreed to be part of this project, be part of this the family of Crash, and she's here with us today. Please welcome to the show, Gigi Perreau.
Yay!
Hey. Hi, Gigi.
I am so honored to be part of this thing. Really, they needed a part for a granny. Hello, I'm a granny. Very few people that have been in the business since they were 2, and so that puts me at 79 years with my first film. So
wow,
been around forever. I feel like I've been around forever. Anyway, no, I was so excited when Matt approached me with this because number one, as a mom and a grandma, and someone who's a close friend, her son was jogging with his running team and was crossing Woodman, and a young woman was texting, and he was lagging behind a little bit, and he was hit and killed on the spot by a distracted driver. And she started a whole foundation thing. But besides that, it's just something that we have to all be so concerned about. We're reading more and more about acts, about people even crossing in crosswalks. Hit. So I don't know. I really think texting and holding that phone. I have Bluetooth in my car, and I can quick answer a call, and even then I try to find a place to move over.
I agree.
Mentally, you have a tendency to focus in on what the person is saying, whether you're driving, whether you have a phone in your hand. So really and truly, I think my dad was the greatest person to teach us 4 kids how to drive, because he said you have to always concentrate and never make the person that you're driving feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You're not driving well. They don't scare anyone. So it's great. But no, Matt has such a great background. Are you kidding? He's got so many things going and so many wonderful things happening in his terrific class. Yes, Matt, I would love to come on and guest on one of your evenings.
Oh, thank you, Gigi.
Well, I'm a teacher. After my childhood career was over, I started teaching. I taught at Notre Dame High School in the Valley, and then at Immaculate Heart High School, which of course is now famous because that's where Meghan Markle went to school. But so did a lot of others. Tyra Banks. I mean, we had a wonderful group. Mary Tyler Moore went there. But it was so exciting to give back and to be able to direct and so on. So, I've always been kind of around doing whatever.
Gigi, you mentioned all these roles that you've taken on in your career. How was the role of Grandma Swift in Crash different from all the millions of other roles that you fabulously perform and have done for Hollywood?
That much to do. I mean, Matt, if you need me more for future seasons,
yes.
please. I'm available. I'm available.
Okay. Thank you, Gigi.
Another smart actress.
Was that just to get involved with the project, even though I had just a few lines, and it was kind of fun because the character is just called Grandma, and I found in doing a little bit of voiceover work the past few years that for some reason people think that grandmas sort of talk like this. Really, and so I would audition for a grandmother part with agents that I haven't been able to find her, so whatever. But I would audition, and she'd say, "Oh no, you sound much too young. They want somebody 65-ish." Well, I'm 80. I mean, what do you know? This is what 80 sounds like.
Right.
So
right.
It's hard to, it's hard to get that. So I think with Grandma, just kind of having her be the boss and have a strong voice, but not doddering, doddering at all.
That's great that you gave it your own take, because it's so true. We've heard that over and over again. It makes your character so much more unique to be that strong grandma that's not, just.
Well, I think grandmas are different these days. We're all different. Look at how, characters have evolved. The business has evolved tremendously since I was young and working at the studios, Universal, MGM, as a contract player and as a kid and the teacher on the set and all that. And now it's a totally different feeling. It's a totally different world. And I have to say, I'm pretty glad I grew up in the business in what they call the golden years of Hollywood, because it was really very exciting to work with huge stars of that you just had great respect for. Not quite the same, but
your history, you've seen it all. You've been through it all. It's
I've been through it all. And my mother, who was the greatest movie mother, is 104.
Wow, God bless her. Oh my God.
With her and my two sisters, and so the grandma role, and very few women my age are lucky enough to still have their mom. But yeah. I'm very in this business, you're grateful to be working. So
at any age. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I've been very blessed, and one of my blessings was to have met Matt and sort of be on his team. So, which I truly am on his team.
That's amazing. Now, there's a little rumor I heard, Missy, that you are being honored for Lifetime Achievement Award coming up. Is that
coming up the end of April? As a matter of fact, I was honored the cinema big thing, CinemaCon, with a Lifetime Achievement Award, and my daughter and I are going to the River Run International Film Festival in North Carolina.
Wow!
And I think we're leaving on the 20th, and I think it opens on the 21st. So anyone who's in the North Carolina area, come and say hello. It's always fun to meet people in person that either have watched you in films or whatever. They're going to screen 2 of my films, and then they're going to they're going to screen my daughter Gina Galloway's film, Fly Me to the Moon, which is an animated feature, where I had one line, but hey, it was work. It was a job.
One great line, right?
Yeah. I got to put this comment up. One of our co-producers and actress Alameda reminds everyone that Gigi has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, so people can be reminded of that. That's very important. We had to bring it up.
A Hollywood legend, truly.
It's important in that it does represent that particular era. I was there for the groundbreaking ceremony, and I was, I think, 17, 18 years old when we broke ground, and then the next year the stars actually went on. So it was really an honor. I was one of the first 50 Hollywood celebrities that was invited to be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So, and even that's changed. I understand that it's now a terribly expensive project, and
well, you deserve that Lifetime Achievement Award. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
Really.
You know you're getting old when you
No, you're not.
It's okay because the alternative is not good.
Awesome.
104 is the new 20s. Apparently.
I'm very grateful. Yes.
So if you just hold on really quick here, Gigi, I'm going to bring in the rest of the group, and we're all going to just so we can finish it all up together. So let's see how this will work here. We're going to bring back, let's bring back Fernando and Tyler. We have Randy, and let's see if we bring in Steve. Look at that. There we go. There's everybody.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yay.
Group again.
So I have a question for all of you, and anyone can answer it, whoever feels most comfortable. But how has this project changed your personal behavior behind the wheel for any of you from the cast? How has that happened in any way, shape, or form?
For me, since nobody's answering, well, like when I bought my last car, I insisted that it had CarPlay. So I work in a situation where I get texts all the time, and unfortunately, because of that situation, I have to act on them. But my hands are not off the road; my hands are on the wheels the whole time, and I can actually have the stereo or my phone read me the messages as I'm going. It's just, to me, it's like I'm not watching the screen. I'm just hearing it. So that was, I mean, I insisted on that sort of thing because and also I didn't want to stare at my phone if I was trying to get directions anywhere. At this point, it's in my periphery. And I don't have to take my eyes off the road. So that's what I did. I mean, that was a behavior that I really changed, was putting my phone elsewhere, out of reach, having my stereo display what I need to do on the screen, and really focus on the road.
Yeah, CarPlay is a really beneficial thing. I was excited to switch my old car to get a more modern car with all that technology because it helps. It really does help. You're right.
It helps me a lot. I mean, we're all actors here, and we all get messages from our agents and managers, and sometimes they want you to act on it. So if it's long term, if it's like a long thing, I do also pull over and handle it that way. Yeah. There's no way because I'm on the freeway a lot, and there's no way I'm gonna be distracted when I'm on the freeway. And I'm not gonna be distracted. I try not to be distracted anywhere, but absolutely never the freeway.
Yeah.
So all that stuff helps. Technology helps.
It's true, because even with all the technology, like my mom will call me and she's like, "Are you driving?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, but I have Bluetooth." And she's like, "No, I'll call you back later. You're still driving." I'm like, "All right, fine." But she's right, and I think this was brought up too. You're still a little distracted when you're in a conversation. So
well, they did a study about texting, and they did like reaction studies. If you're texting and you're not focused on the road, you are actually less focused than if you're drunk. If you got a point, it's the equivalent of having over a 1% blood alcohol concentration. So so I mean, keeping your eyes on the road is, I mean, if people who get distracted and get into accidents, they get into accidents way more than people who are DUI.
We actually know that for a fact, Steve. We've run the numbers on that, and that's been part of our packaging, our pitching of the project of Crash. Is that distracted driving injuries and fatalities have overtaken drunk driving accidents. They've overtaken it. That's how bad it is. So
what's the downside of technology, right? I mean, downside of technology is that people could spend their whole lives focused on their technology when they're not driving. So you think they're going to drop the phone when they're driving. So it's quite, for a lot of people, it's quite the addiction. So to drop it for anything is hard.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, look, we have from Madwin and Shaw, Creative Counseling. They say, "Call me Dave Matthews, man, because I want you to crash inside me." Oh, that's I like that. It's funny.
Knee slapper.
But anyone else feel like their behavior has changed behind the wheels since doing the project?
So I think just the awareness.
Awareness.
I think awareness. you get aware of different things. Someone once said, you know, you've got to remember to stand up straight, you know, as you get older. And so I'm reminded of that. And I must say, doing Crash, it's there. You know, all of your work is sort of part of who you are, but it's there, and it's a reminder. It really is. It's there, in the back of your head.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, it's just been so awesome having everybody here today to celebrate our big release of season 1 on this Friday on Genre TV on Roku. Let's applaud that. Yay.
Round of applause for everyone that worked on this project that's here today. And Matt, what is next for Crash?
So after our premiere, we're going to be planning to also release it in a little while. We're going to release it on our YouTube channel so people can have a lot easier access. I mean, we're trying to make sure people know how to get to Genre TV right now. And you got to go to the website. If you Google it, you can find out that Roku offers it. And if you don't have Roku, just get Roku, and then you can get Genre. But anyways, moving forward, yes, we'll upload season 1 on our YouTube channel. We're going to have a season 2 release also on Genre. We'll get that out as well. And then we were talking about a possible season 3. So that's in the works. The other thing, I know Fernando mentioned it earlier, we have a prototype for a comic book we're working on. We have a prototype for a children's book. These are in the works right now as we speak. So we're very, very excited about all those incarnations of Crash. And ultimately, we want to do a feature film as well, like a full scale. And we're talking about keeping it maybe 2D and you know, not going all Pixar'd out, but keeping it in this you know, the way we have it, the way Fernando has beautifully designed these characters and doing it in this 2D fashion and getting that out there. So yeah, there's a lot more to come for Crash.
Awesome.
So
cool.
Okay. Great.
Well, season, we're all available, right?
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you guys at the launch party or whatever, and we'll see you, and we'll catch up again at the next premiere. So
can't wait.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Great, cool.
Thanks, guys.
Hi. All right, Matt. Well, there you have it. What a great little show about Crash, and it's premiere this week.
I'm excited, and I'm also excited to get over to Clubhouse here in a little bit, and we'll see if anybody wants to come on and talk with us. We'll be on there for a little bit. So just try to come on with you guys. The Clubhouse app. Look for the Sherwood Players room. We're calling it Power to the Artist. It's the distractive driving episode, or not episode, but forum. So we're gonna have a little discussion, kind of an after show meetup. So we're gonna do that right now. In the meantime, I mean, you guys go to sherwoodplayers.com. Check out what we have to offer besides just our projects, but we have classes and workshops. We have auditions coming up for a Barefoot Spirit type audiobook, because we did that the other year. We're going to have another. It's called Business Audio Theater, so we're going to have another one of those. And just stay in tune with us. Stay in touch. Like, this is the time to connect more with people, and we have to get away from the isolation that's been kind of instilled on us over the last couple of years. I'm going to get back to physical contact, back to engagement, back to our storytelling, and just making those connections and building our networks and building our careers in this crazy industry that we find ourselves in.
Back to fun and living again.
Yes, indeed. Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for being here for the show. If you're watching it live or watching it on a replay, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you can get notified when we go live again. Next week we'll be having our season finale of the Sherwood Shakeup, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have some very special guests coming on for that show, and we'll see you guys next time. Any last thoughts, Lizette?
Yes, thank you, Matt, for telling me a lot about Crash too, and also for being a guest too for me. So awesome. You're my guest today as well.
Awesome. Okay. Well, take care, Lizette, and everyone else. And next time we'll see you back here next week. Sherwood Players, Power to the artist.
Power to
Character
the artist.
driven. Yes. Okay.
Bye, Matt. See you on the other side.
Bye.